Okay, so we'll be starting this session and I'll be going through stream related questions today. Okay, so I hope the screen is visible to you all. Now, the first problem. So you're supposed to write a program that given a list of students belonging to a set of schools. So you have to simply find the highest scoring girl student studying in a government school using Java Spring concept. So in the code template, you will be given a class called class school that has the following members. So it has a name variable that stores the name of the school. Then so the government school variable. So it's a Boolean variable. So it's true if the school is government, else false. Now another method is government. So it would return the variable government school value. So again, this method would simply return true or false. So Boolean. Now you have a class student that happens to have following members. So it has a roll number and is a unique string identifier for each student. And a girl is a Boolean variable which stores true or false. So if it's a girl student, then true, else again false. Then you have this. Okay, so the marks are there that stores the marks of the student. All right. So what I'll do is I'll simply scroll through the template first. So in this template, like the class school that we discussed, having this method that returns Boolean value. Now you have a class student that implements comparable. So comparable would be there to, like, there are certain functions like sort function or a max function or a min function from your streams, or you can there is also, like, if you want to store your student object instances into a tree set or a priority queue, you'd require this concept or this operator based on which you'd be like storing the elements in an order. So comparable is used here. So comparable, it's actually a functional interface to be noted. And functional interface, they only happen to have one abstract method. So over here, the one abstract method would be your compare to. Now, within your student class, you have 4 private instance variables. Then after this, your student instance, that your the constructor part for your student. So it has four. Okay, so the 4 instance variables being initialized. Then the Boolean method in your student class, whether it's a girl or not. So true or false. Then you have this school method, so get school. So I think we also have a school instance variable here. So my school is of type school. So over here, public get school would be returning the school instance for that particular student instance. Then the two strings, so simply it's returning the roll number format. Now the comment states that you're supposed to define the compare to method. So the compare to method, I'll be discussing the logic as well. Now within your main class, for here it's a S class. So within this, you have to also define this method called find student. So find student method out here, it's taking a parameter of of type array list of student here, and it's simply returning an optional of student. So now optionals are like a way to, it's, you could metaphor it as a container. So container means if it's empty, then it would be an empty container, and else it would store a value. So in your streams, like function as your max function or your min function, it would assist you to store the value or to prevent the not null part. So like two methods are to be defined. Now we'll like go through the reading whether how to like write this find student method. So over here, the find student method should convert slist into a stream. Then it has to find the highest scoring student among all the girls studying in a government school. So you have to first convert this list into a stream, and on that stream you have to find the, like, apply the filter method. So what filter would do is simply take the elements that satisfy the condition that we are putting into the filter method, else it and rest it would be removed out. and store the values inside an optional variable named highest score underscore girl. So it's saying that assume the roll number is unique among all the schools. So so further, there is either none or only one highest scoring girl in the list. So either none means there are no, like there aren't any girls studying in government school, so your stream would simply be empty, and the max function that you would be calling would again return a empty optional of empty. So we have to define two things here. So I'll be taking it into your compiler. Himanshu, comparator determines the order. Okay, just a moment. We'll also go through that document. So there is this method called compare to, so it would determine the order. So like it would assist you to sort or store the elements in ascending or descending order that would be based on a logic. So it would simply compare them. Like if the current instance that you're using is greater than the parameter that you're passing, then one, like then positive number, else a negative number or a zero. So three values it can return.
I have one basic doubt that in Java, do we have method overloading?
Yes, we can do method overloading, right?
Okay, and operator overloading, do we have
No,
No?
not sure
Oh,
about operator
okay.
overloading. Like in Python, I suppose we have this for
Yeah,
addition, and
Python we have, C++ we have. I don't know about the Java.
I'm not
Like
sure about that.
operator overloading is there, then this must be overloading the greater than and less than symbols.
I'm not sure about that. I'll confirm that.
Hmm.
So we'll first like write this compare to method out. Okay. So over here, like compare to and get the maximum element out of it. So based on what logic you want to compare it. So I suppose in your question, it was based on your marks, I suppose. So over here it states highest scoring student. So student with the highest mark would be the maximum, the would be returned by the max operator here. My bad, the max operation. So moving back to the compare to part. So compare to in sense like how it works is it's within this student class. So a student instance, whatever the student variable, dot the compare to method, and within that you pass the like another student parameter with whom you want to compare. So there are like three return that can happen. So first is like if the current instances, I suppose we are dealing with marks, so score as marks here. If this dot marks is more than the others dot marks, so other instances marks, then you can simply return a positive number, so one. Else else if your this dot um okay, this dot marks is less than the others dot marks, so you can simply return a negative number, so denoting that the current instance that you're comparing with the parameter that you're passing within the function is less than so simply a negative number, so -1. So in shorter way you could, and else return 0, else in the case where both are equal then you return 0. Now simple way, like even more concise and crisp way, if you could say, you can simply do this, like you can simply return, because you either want a 0, a negative number, or a positive number here. So this order that we are writing would be by default for the ascending order. So simply we can also do this like this thought, marks minus the other dot marks. So this pattern would simply like either return a 0, a negative, or a positive number. So a simple, concise way to write it. Now you have to define this find student method. Now why we use like why we were supposed to write this compare to, because your max method would be expecting this part. So now either it would return like optional dot empty, like it would simply return an optional part. So either it would be an optional dot empty or an optional with storing a value. So a container, an empty container, or a container with a particular value out here. So this one, now first of all, it suggests you to convert this S list into stream. So S list is a collection type. So we have this method as stream that would convert the collection into a stream format. Now on the stream that we created, we'll apply filter. So filter would simply like eliminate the like whatever function that you pass, or whatever logic lambda function or a logic you write within it. If the stream elements, if a particular element in your stream, it satisfies the condition, then it would remain in the stream, else it would be removed out. So now we have to like make sure that the student is a girl, and the school for the student is a government school. So in your student class, so even you're dealing with student and student objects here. So first of all, for a student in the stream, so first of all, s thought, I suppose s thought is girl. So is girl, if it's true then fine, so then it's valid. So is girl, and as thought, I suppose we have to like compare the school part. So as thought gets school on the school instance variable that you get, on that you call is government method. So if it's a government school, then it's again true. So first of all, you sort out all the elements. You only take all the student elements from stream that are girl and that are from government school, and on the stream that you have now, on the stream you simply call the max function. So this is from the stream class. Now in this you are supposed to explicitly specify the method out, to method to be used based on which I want to compare the elements and find the maximum student instance here. So you can simply pass a lambda function. So max would be comparing it would be based on the compare to method here. So suppose you have a student instance 1, a student instance 2 as the variables, and on this you can simply do s1 dot compare to s2. So this would simply, this max function would simply return an optional type. So if the stream would have been empty by when you were calling the max function, then it would be optional dot empty, else it would be optional with a value, and this would be returned. So this is one way. Now another way would be like in this you're simply passing the lambda method to specify it. Another way is using method reference. Now method reference in sense, if I simply copy this again, okay, it's not. So instead of this part, like I can simply pass the method reference. I think this is week 9 concept. So what I can do is from your student class, from the student class, you call this method called compared to that's there in the student class. So both of them would work. I suppose not braces are not to be used here. Let me check. So braces are not required here. So two ways, either like you pass the lambda function or you can also pass the method reference out here. So I'll
So, okay, uh, this uh, compared to this method referencing will like pass both parameters.
no compare in compare. I think compare method you pass both the parameters. Compare to only one. So
Uh, com-
compare.
Mhm.
Okay, there are two ways to implement the sorting or like sorting mechanism in your in the objects or in the class objects that you create on your custom objects. Like over here, you're dealing with student. So either one way is using comparable. So comparable, if you're using this, then the class that on which you want to compare, it is supposed to implement this comparable interface and it is supposed to write this compare to method. Now another way is comparator. So I'll be like discussing that as well in I think in the last question.
One question that I have, go below. Yeah, here you just write compared to, so you're not passing any parameter to this, any arguments to this compared to method.
Line 57.
Yes, line 57.
That's called method reference out here. So method reference means the max function. It is denoting that to the max function that you use this function compared to from the student class to derive the sorting logic. Simply that.
So it is used as a static method, right? Like here, without any object references.
No, it's not a static method here.
I mean, you're not calling it upon any object. It is not binded to any object, and it is.
Okay, okay, just a second. So you are saying that I'm not like creating an instance of a student class and
It
then
is
call compared to my.
not binded to any instance, then it's acting like a static, right?
No, I don't
No.
think so. I don't get the point. Like if you're saying that if um static method over here you're denoting compared to over here as so.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, just a moment. I suppose this was in week 9, no? Week 8, I suppose. Just a second.
Yes, it will be in week 8. Uh, Professor discussed in week 8 this part. I don't remember. Where are these notes? Are these notes shared by you?
Yes, in the TA session links.
Oh, where is that? On Discord?
Like I'll show you later on after the session
Okay.
how to access it. So over here, like in the first one, in the first approach, you are writing a lambda expression, right? In this code. So you are specifying this max operator in line 56 that you compare it, you call S1 dot compare the S1 to S2. So over here, like a simple or more concise way it states to write your is to write it using your method reference. So you use okay, so I suppose in this example, comparator. So in the sort mechanism, you are simply like, okay, so in this part, like what you're doing is you're trying to compare two elements S1 and S2 based on the length here. So again, like over here, simply in concise way, you are calling your compare to logic where you are simply doing, like, if it returns a negative, then the first element is less than the second element, like s1 is less than the s2. So similar to that, this was your lambda expression. Now in method reference, over here, okay, so over here you are using a static method, so compare by length. Now in this part,
That that was a I was saying that it must be static because
no,
not
compare
binded to
method
any.
is not a static method.
Hmm? Which one?
So you are assuming compare to as a static method.
No, no, not compared to, but the reference method reference you're giving, like here, if you
Yeah,
see,
here it's a static method, fine. Over there also, even if I'm not dealing with a static method, then also it would work.
it will work. Okay.
Oh, you we can try to run it, no?
Hmm. Yeah.
Mm, okay. Return statement, line 58. Okay, I forgot to write the return, no?
You're not showing the correct screen.
Oh, my bad.
Hmm.
Okay, so now to add the output, not my bad, the input. So input as in here are test cases. So okay, so I'll repeat the question and repeat what we have used here. So first of all, we were supposed to write this compare to method. That's from the comparable interface. So in this, instead of writing all these logic, like if the current instance is greater than the parameter part, then you return a positive number, else you return a negative number, or you return zero if they are true. So instead of that, we simply like made a one liner code, simply do return this instance minus the other, the parameter that you're passing. So this would also fulfill the purpose, so of either returning a positive, negative, or zero. And this is to be in the ascending order. Now if you wanted it to be in descending order, so you would simply reverse this out, so simply do other dot marks minus this dot marks. So this would reverse the order from ascending to descending. Now, after this, within your main function, you are supposed to write this method as find student. So, find student method, you had an s list as the parameter that you are passing of type list here. Now, you were supposed to convert it into a stream. So, we simply call this method to convert a collection type into a stream. Then, on that, we are applying the filter method. So, filter method as so it will keep the elements that satisfies the condition, else it would remove the elements out that do not satisfy the condition that you are putting within the filter method. That's a lambda method here again. Now on this you are calling max. So max is within your stream class. So max would either return like max. Okay. So suppose your stream that this filter returned is empty. So max function will like simply there are no elements that are present to be compared to. So that it would be null. So to handle that null, so max would return an option, a container that would store the value over here. So if that container is empty, then it would return an optional of empty, else it would return an option with the value. So over here, the particular value that would be of type student. So I think this optional is in week 9. So I hope this is conveyed, this question. Any doubts in this one?
So
Ma'am, sorry, continue.
you go ahead. You go ahead.
Ma'am, I want to know, like, where are we mentioning in the options, like, in case of a null value, what to give?
Okay. So in the optionals, mm, so line 85. So in this question you're referring to?
Oh, yes. Okay.
Line number 83, what you're doing is first find the student. You're passing the student's array list into it. It would return an option optional of either empty or student. Now if the optional is not empty, if the value is present, if the student object is present within the container, then simply do this. Dot get would get the value out of the container. Else, if it's not present, then you simply print no student found.
Okay, ma'am.
So I'll try to, okay, let's try another option which might return this. So the second test case only in your question snippet would be returning you no student found. So in this, I suppose none of the students. Okay, so Alice is a female student, but she must be in a private school. Then Bob is a guy, so again he's not a female, a girl student. Charlie is also a guy, so again Diana is a girl student, but she is not from government, so again she didn't get into the stream after filtering. Eve is true, but again she must be in the what do we say, in the in a private or non-government school. So again, so for this case, the stream after the filter must have been empty. So on that, when we call the max function, it simply returned an optional dot empty format. So optional dot empty, as in this would be the format optional um, dot empty. So okay, let's try to print it out simply. For this one, we can do is println, and println this highest score girl. So this would simply give you an optional dot empty for this case, for these options. Acha, okay. So as in the format here. Now if it had a value, so now I'll switch to the first or this last option. So now in this case, there would be a student, a maximum student. There would be a non null optional. So it gave you an option with S2 as the student type. So S2 student was a non null here. Okay. So I hope this is conveyed. Himanshu, you had a doubt?
Yes, I have. So first thing, that this stream method is coming from collections interface, right?
There is this method stream that assists you to convert your collection, any collection type that comes under collection, like your list, set, or queues and all, into
Can
a stream format.
hmm, can you go to the top of the program,
Hmm.
whether it is imported or not? Okay, from Java you use stream, but we are using stream as a method. So this where this stream is used.
This is a package.
But where you used it in the program?
Okay, there is this package called stream, and within stream, you happen to have your class as stream with a capital S. So within that, okay, streams over here.
Yeah, you didn't use, I think.
Okay.
In the compare to method, you have used that compare
Where?
to method. Yeah. Sorry. In the optional, the optional
No,
uh,
this is
S
a
list
method
dot string.
coming from collections interface, and array list is inherited from collections. I mean implements. Yeah, so that is coming there, but where is that? A comment line number two and try this program.
Which line?
Line number two.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's working. That was useless.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Hmm. Okay. Now the second question is, so this filter will give you empty, empty collection, empty string, what it will give you, when you don't have a valid student.
Hmm. When they do not satisfy, when none of the um, student instances that are there in the stream satisfy this condition of being a girl child, being a girl and going to a government school.
Hmm.
So during that case, it would be empty.
Empty what?
The stream would be empty. Then on
Stream,
that
empty stream. So filter will also return a stream. Okay.
it would return a stream that's empty. Now on that empty stream, when you're calling the max function, so there are
Hmm.
none no elements. So null.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
instead of null, it would return an optional dot empty.
So this is property of maths that it returns a optional type.
Always an optional of
Okay.
either empty or optional of value.
Oh, okay. So Macs by default have this property to give optionals. Okay. So is there like anything in the streams that that fails on this? Like if they may ask something that if, oh, like it have optionals, Macs have, but like if you have seen anything that will fail at this point, so can you tell?
Fail at this point when stream is empty and on that you apply any operations.
Any operation which
I
is
think they're handled this way only. Like the
okay.
basically they return optional value, so the container would be storing either container would be storing either it would be empty or it would be storing the values.
Hmm. And with to receive a optional, we need to specify that this can be optional in line number 55. We are doing that, right?
Return type, no, you have to
Yeah,
specify the
return.
return type
Yes.
what you're returning.
That
So now
either optional. Yeah. Okay. Hmm. Okay. And just go down, scroll down a little. So you're creating a hash map and then you bring a student. Okay, fine. Thank you.
okay. So in this problem, you have to complete the Java program that updates the vaccination status of the residents of a village as partial if only one of the dose has been taken and complete if both the doses have been taken here. So it should also print the list of senior citizens aged above 60 and above age 60 and above and who have been vaccinated at least once. So again, this is a stream question. So you have a class called citizen that has instance variables as name, vaccination status, age, and number of doses. So again, I constructed to initialize these variables. And over here, it also specifies that vaccination status is not supposed to be initialized using the constructor part. So even here, it states that it has to be like initialized as either partial or complete based on the okay, so vaccination status of resident of a village and partial if only one dose has been taken and complete, so based on number of doses it has to be initialized, so not to be done in your constructor using the constructor part. Now you have so there is I think two string method overridden. Now we have a class vaccine stream that has the main method and it accepts the detail of four citizens and invokes the method get filtered stream to filter the list based on the given constraints to obtain the output list. So you have to do two things. You have to define an appropriate constructor and an accessor method in the class citizen. Then to define the get filtered stream in your class vaccine stream. So which is your public class here. So you have your class as citizen and the instance variables define the constructor part. The two string is already there. So again an accessor method. Okay, since all the getters or the accessors to be defined for them. Now in your public class vaccine stream, you have to define the method get filter. Okay, so filtered stream out. So public stat, okay, so get filtered stream out to be defined here. And looking into your main method, so get filtered stream, it seems to be returning a stream onto which you are calling the collect method. So you call collect method whenever like collect, within that you pass the factory methods out. So they help you to assist you to convert your streams back into collection type. Now since there are a lot of things in collection, there is not only a particular thing that you can convert it into. So again, within the collect method, you have this collectors class that has a lot of factory methods. So factory methods that assist you or allow you to create new instances here. So over here, two list, you also have two set or two collectors to be used when you want to convert it into a custom type, or two map to convert it into a map format. So this part, from this part, we can take the hint that this method of get filtered stream, that is taking, I suppose, CIT list, which is again an array list or a list parameter, and it is returning a stream, and on that stream you're calling the collect to convert it back into the list again as my list. Yes, Himanshu.
Yeah, so this collectors can convert into any type of collection, like it can call any type of constructor to make it into any type of collection, right?
Like this two string and two set. So like two string with by default convert it into array list. Now suppose what if you want to convert it into your linked list?
Then to a linked list, maybe?
Nope.
No?
uh, there is
Oh,
one more thing. Okay, just a second, I have to share the document.
hmm. Is this collector a separate thing from collection interface, or is it some in some relation like
It's a class.
parent or child? Huh? What?
It's a class in
It's a
your, I
class,
think, in the stream, in your stream package, I suppose.
stream like
Package, small s stream.
you're not showing.
Hmm.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay.
Ma'am, how did you reach here? Like, we need to put collectors in
Hmm.
the search bar.
Hmm.
Okay.
Collectors,
This is
class.
Oracle documentation. You'll also get a link for this documentation in your exam. So during that, you'll have a search bar somewhere over here. On that, you simply search this out, and it will give you the page.
Collectors.
Okay. So implementation of collection. So over here it states that collectors that implements various useful reduction operations such as accumulating elements into collections or summarizing elements. So there is a summarizing int and summarizing double that it's denoting to. But for now it's elements into collections. Now collections can be anything. Like I can also I also want my stream to be converted into map. I can do it using this. Also want to convert my stream into tree set, but by default I only have two set, like collectors dot two set, that would assist me to convert it into hash set only. But suppose I want to have a custom, like you said, Himanshu said that I want it into it explicitly into a linked list. So during that time, you have this method as two collection. So within two collection over here, I want it into tree set. So what I'm suggesting, I'm passing method reference. So I'm saying from this class tree set, from this tree set class, you call this new. So you create new instance of tree set, and within which you store the elements of the stream out. Now, instead of the tree set, if I want to explicitly have it into an linked list, I can simply do this, like two collectors, and within two collectors, I can explicitly specify that I want to convert it into linked list here. Or if I want it into a default format, then I can simply use two list. So two list would give me default of array list. Now similarly, two set also we have. Now we have the summarizing int that I was specifying. Also we have this converting it to map format. So maps, we have a lot of parts. Um, this first one,
Yes, yes.
Okay, not this one. This,
But they say that it converts into collection. Maps are not collections.
but still, I can use it to create a map part.
Okay, and what is new here?
New is the constructor that's been called. Or whenever
Okay.
you are creating new instance, like or whenever you are allocating new memory location in your heap, you
Mhm.
call new, right?
Yeah, that is a keyword, but I like okay, Java have. Okay.
So maps are also there. Now in this part, now suppose I want a map having the string, my bad, the key as a department and the integer as the value. So first of all, I have this employee stream. Okay, so this employees, I suppose employees, any collection type, any array list or set or anything. On that, we are converting it into stream, and on that stream, I'm calling this collect method again. So it assists you to create a new instance that stores same value as the stream. Now, this collect, and within that we are passing collectors dot grouping by. So group by the elements. So again, this grouping by them with this employee. So employee, okay, so the first parameter, like first is the method reference that's denoting that from employee class, you call this get department method on each of the stream instance to assign it as a key, and then collectors dot summarizing int. So summarizing int is employee dot get salary on that. So summarizing int, it simply returns an integer value. You pass any function within the summarizing int, it will return you an integer part here. So get salary, I suppose it would be your int format. So that would be returned as the value part here. And also you have another ways to do using partitioning by. Okay, what I'll do is I'll share my document here. That would be much easier to. Okay. So we were using this summarizing int now there. So it simply like within this whatever you pass it you are to require it requires a function that returns an int type here. So okay, so you're converting into a summarizing stream format that's returning int in this case. Now we have this map part, I suppose. So this one is to explicitly convert it into two maps. So this is what I was referring to, my bad. So in two map, again it would return a hash map by default. So so the first method reference would be for the key, and the second method reference would be for the value out that you put. Now it can also happen like suppose the IDs aren't unique, like the keys aren't unique, but keys are supposed to be unique. So that would be an issue. So during that time, you can also pass a merge function there. So I suppose okay, later on it would be there, but if you just go through this document, it might be clear.
Can you reshare this document?
Hmm.
You have all weeks documents, right? Like this notes week 1 to 12.
Hmm.
Okay, can you share all of them, like common drive link where all
Hmm.
of
I'll
these?
show you how to access it later on.
Hmm? Okay.
Yesterday, ma'am was saying grouping by and all these things
Hard
are
to
important.
as well. Hmm. Okay, I'll just revisit all the map related part. So first one was your this generic way two map. So two map you passed two method references, like first one like using which you would get allot the key, and the second using which you would allot the value. So from the person instance, from the for the stream that's storing persons, so on that get id, so get id as the key and the value from the person class as the value part here for each of the stream elements that are stored there. Now after this okay, so this part two map, no? Okay, so this is what I was referring to. Handling duplicates in keys. So it can happen, no? Like if you're okay, even in your normal map methods, like if you already have a key value pair as cat and 10, and you're again like later on you're trying to insert cat and 20. So if you simply do, you already have cat 10. You simply try to do map dot put cat and 20. So what would happen is the old value would be overridden by the new value. So now the map would only store one key value pair as cat, but the value would be cat and 20. So the 10 value that it previously had got lost. Now sometimes, okay, not sometimes it's fine when you're using it using your normal map functions, but in your in while you're converting a stream into map format, it might throw you an error. So during that time, if you like, you're also supposed to pass a merge function here. So merge function denotes that if the value is already existing, if the key value pair is already existing, and I'm trying to insert uh, same key but a new value with it, or any value with it, then I want based on this highlighted logic, I want it to be stored. Now suppose what if I do is if I want that if I'm trying to add more key value pairs, there is already existing cat comma 10, and I'm again trying to add cat comma 20 into my map. So I can write the logic such way that now if I add cat comma 20, I want the keys value to be appended. So initially it was 10. Now again the old value I want, plus I want to add it with the new value that I'm trying to insert out. So merge over here, it would handle this. If there is already an existing key value pair and you're trying to insert a new key value pair, so you simply pass this lambda function as the merge. It denotes that the existing value, that's already the old value, the new value that you're trying to put right now, and then you simply perform any function. Either you add them, either you take the maximum out of it, or either you like multiply both of them. So anything can be fine. Yes, Himanshu?
How we know that this is merge function? By third positional argument.
Hmm.
Okay. Like, is that correct? Like, this is third positional argument and signature kind of matches that. So we are saying that this is merge function, or is there any other thing that is making it merge function? Yes.
So merge functions are used if you're okay. So over
Hmm.
here, why I'm denoting it as a merge function is like you're passing three parameters.
Hmm.
First is for your key, second is for your value, and the
Hmm.
third one, if the value is already existing, then you do something to it. You merge them out in some way.
It's a signature of two map, I guess. Hmm.
Like three parameters. See, get name, like names can be common, right?
Hmm. No, no. Like, can you just check the documentation and what is signature of two map or
Hmm.
map in general? Like, what they have when you create a map from another collection.
So we have two map, no?
Yeah, two map.
So over here, you're passing function for your first function for your key, second function for your value, and the third function is a function that
Value mapping. Anytime. Hmm. I think this is the the- okay.
so merge function in just in
Hmm.
case if there's already an existing value out.
Okay, binary operator merge function. Okay, got it. So it's signature of map. Hmm.
You can also have a value mapper as well. So
Hmm.
mapping function to the input elements.
Okay.
We were here, right?
You're yeah sharing that. Okay.
So another one is your grouping by. So grouping by in sense over here, like this example. So suppose if I want, so over here I'm grouping by based on the names here. So what I want to do is I want to have a key as name, and all the person instances that have the name as so would be put into a value list, and that would be pointed by this string key here. So grouping by default, only if I pass one parameter a meter within it, that's the method reference for the key part, then it would return like it would have the key as as the first method reference that we are using, and the value would be would be a list storing all the elements in the stream that match this particular key over here. So over here it states this creates a map from each name to a list of person objects sharing the same name. So the key mapper and default to list here. So the default return, the key value would be list part. Now if I want a custom return, like instead of your instead of the list of person, I want a tree set of person. So now again I have to pass a second parameter. First parameter was for the value, and second parameter within your grouping by was that I want to create this instance, this container, this collection in container into which I want to store the values. So as in the two collections, because I want to use a custom part here, like a custom collection part. Now partitioning by would either like it would partition them into true or false. So in partitioning by, it would partition into your true or two keys only. Only two keys would be there in map. One would be your true, another one would be false. Now in your collectors, like in your stream, you convert the stream into collect. On that stream you call this collect method, and within collector you explicitly mention this within this collectors call this partitioning by method. So and whatever you pass within it, whatever function or a method you pass within it, or a logic that you pass within it, if this is satisfied, then you put these person instances into the into the list that is mapped by true key, else you put them into a list that is mapped by false key. If this condition is not satisfied, then you put into the list or the value part that is being mapped by the false key. So over here also this results in two groups, those whose name starts with a and those whose don't. Okay, so I suppose this was enough for now. Now after this we were doing the second question, right? So this was what we were referring to. Now within this part, so what you're supposed to do is you have to define the constructors and accessors in this method, and you have to define this get filtered stream out. So get filtered stream, it's within this vaccine stream class, and it's directly being called without creating an instance of vaccine stream. So the return type that okay, so the this method would be a static method. Now the return type of this method that we got to know would be stream, because on the stream only you call this collect to convert it back to collection. So I'll take this into your compiler. So first of all, define an appropriate constructor and accessor methods out. So in your question itself, it stated that this vaccine status would be determined based on the number of doses. So what I can do is the constructor, so same name as the class, so as a citizen, and within citizen, if I look into this main block, so citizen, it's taking next int, and next int. So I suppose it's taking your name, then age and number of doses, I suppose. So let me check the input how we are giving. Okay, so you are giving name, then age, and then the number of doses. So this would be the format of your constructor. So simply first is your string as name, then second is your int as age, and third is your int as number of dose, I suppose, number of doses. Now these are the parameters. Now since I'm like passing the parameter names are same as the instance variables, I have to explicitly note, like explicitly call this dot name equals to the name parameter. So this dot name means this means denoting to the particular instances, particular objects instance variable. Then this dot age as so, and this dot number of doses as so. Now after this we have to like define this vaccination status as either partial or complete based on number of doses. So what we can simply do is, if number of doses, let me check the logic out. So update the vaccination status of the residents of a village as partial, capital P, if only one dose has been taken, and complete if both has been taken. So if number of doses is equals to 1, then vac status would be partial, else so this was your constructor. Now since the instance variables of this class are private, so you'll have to define the getters and setters out. Okay, so there is this indentation issue, but the code would work. So getters for your name, vaccination status, age, and dose, all four. Okay, we'll see like based on what we require, we'll only like write the getters for only that particular part. So I suppose this
Ma'am,
gets
ma'am, in constructor, we don't need to give wax status in the bracket.
yes, no need. In the question only it states.
Okay.
So the program updates the vaccination status, vax status of the resident of the village as partial if one dose has been taken and complete if both have been taken. So there is no need of passing. Even in your code, the input that you are passing over your citizen instance, only three parameters here that you are taking.
Okay, ma'am.
And another way, if you could read that,
What the question? I missed.
note that the vaccination
Huh?
status
No, no, no.
has
What Anu asked?
to be updated here based on the number of users.
Your voice is breaking.
Question 2, you can refer. Okay, she asked like why.
Now, uh, is it breaking for me only or
Okay, just a moment. Okay, now am I audible?
yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so going back to the question.
Ma'am, and we don't even require to put string in front of it.
No, see over here only na line number 7 vac status has been initialized. I'm uh, defining it later on. I have already declared the type line 7.
Okay. In constructor also we normally do that, na? That's why.
No, like if you're creating a new instance in that block, then you write the type. You
Okay.
already declared the type in line 7, so later on there is no requirement.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So after this, the getter is out there. So vaccine streams, we have to filter the stream out based on their age being more than 60 and the number of doses being more than 0, I suppose. So invoke get filter method to filter the list based on given constraint to obtain the output. So okay, so constraints, is it specified here? Okay, let's check the output. Yeah, so even in the like the output, if you are passing these elements, so it would simply return the elderlies, the ones whose age is more than equals to 60 and who have taken at least one dose. So as in the first test case and even in the second test case, it's returning this with the one dose as well. So filter based on that. So in your filter method, now again it would be static method and the return type would be a stream of I suppose citizens. Stream of citizen would be the return type here. The method name is get filtered stream. That's taking a parameter over here. Citizen is of type list, so anything. So an array list of citizen it is taking. So list out here. Now on this again you have to apply the filter and return it out. So and you also have the println, no? So what you can do is first again convert the list into stream, and on the stream that you converted, you call the filter method to filter the elements out. So filter those citizens. So for C in the citizens in the stream, for a citizen variable in the stream, you filter it out such that now we'll have to write the get age accessor and I suppose the number of dose accessor. So public int as get age would simply return the age, or you can also write this without age, both would work. Now public, and the method is number of doses I suppose. So again it's an int that returns get number of dose and simply return the variable. So now in your filter, so c dot get age to be more than equals to 80, no, 60, so more than 59, or you can also write more than equals to 60, both would work. Now another way is like on this filter I apply this, and on this again I'll apply another filter that would filter the elements in the stream, in the filtered out stream. So I'll write it as c1. For c1 in the new updated stream after the first filter applied, you simply do c1 dot number of get number of doses, no, get number of doses to be more than 0. So more than 0 or more than equals to what? So this would be returned out. So I hope this is clear. Now again, like converting it just simply for the simplicity, if we try to run and moving back to the test cases. So create, like you'll be inputting these, and these would be insert, like in 4 instances of citizens would be created and would be put into the list. Okay. So is this question clear?
Yes, yes, it is clear. So one thing just that you use two filters, so these two can be combined with AND operator, right?
Yeah, we can also combine, we can also do it separately. I think in the previous one I used an end. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
okay. So in this one, I'll be like explaining the other way around is to using comparator, I suppose. This might have it. So in this problem, you have to complete the given code that takes as input a list of employee object and filters the list based on the rating and salary of employees. So the program should print the details of the employee who have rating greater than 6 and salary lesser than 20,000 in descending order of the rating. So over here, it's also specifying me the order. So whatever stream I got, or whatever like the array list I have to filter it out. I have to remove. I'll only need to have the elements like the employees who satisfy this condition, and I have to sort them in descending order. So descending order as it specifies. Now class employee has following members. So it has an instance variable name, salary, rating, constructor to initialize the instance variables, accessor and mutator methods as needed, and overriding the toString method to display the employee details in a specific format. Then you have a class M class, that is main block method that accepts a list of employee objects and invokes the method get filtered list to filter based on the given constraints. So method get filtered does following. So it accepts a list of employee object e list. Then the list e list should be converted into stream and a filter to be applied there. Then here the filter should extract the employees with the condition here, and then put them into a list f list. So again, like convert, like you first convert a collection into a stream, and after performing few operations on that stream, getting a new stream, you convert it back to collection. Then it should also use collections dot sort to sort the f list that you create in descending order of the rating of employees. Now I'm creating like instances of like I'm creating an array of type employee. So if like can I simply sort these objects out? Can I simply do collections dot sort in the s list that's of type employee? Is it possible? So like
What
to
you
do,
asked?
what I'm saying is see I can sort numbers, right? I can sort numbers and strings.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is, can I sort objects? Objects as in the custom classes that I create, such as person, employee, and can I create a list of employee and simply call sort on it?
If the sort method is defined there and there is a some comparison
Mm.
basis, then you can.
Yeah. So if we apply explicitly, we are supposed to apply comparison mechanism. So even when you're storing them in your sorted collections, like sorted tree, or your queue, or your priority queue, then also that particular whatever you are create, like whatever you're putting it into the objects apart from numbers and string, that is
Mhm.
supposed to have a logic based on which it would be stored. So we
Mm.
have to implement it here.
Yeah. And I guess that is called compare to, right? That you showed previously. that we have to write if we
One
want
is
some.
compared to, one is compared to, another is comparator. So we'll be using comparator here. So I'll explain why. What's the difference?
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
So I have this collect. Okay. So now class employee. In the first example, whichever class it was implementing comparable interface, right? So that was there. Here class employee does not implement comparable interface. So it does not happen to have the compare, like it won't be writing the compare to method. Now other
Uh,
way around,
what compare to interface provide?
compare to method is there, no?
Okay, okay. So that method will be called. Okay. Hmm,
Here
okay.
here I'm not specifying it. So
Yeah. Okay. Your voice gone. You're not speaking.
yeah, I was not speaking. So now,
Okay.
okay, so either class employee to implement compare to interface to be able to compare the elements, or or your or you write a separate class, a separate function, a class that implements comparable interface, comparator, my bad, interface that has the logic to compare the elements of to compare to employees. I'm saying that either employee class to implement a comparable interface and write the compare to function for its instance to be compared with some other with the same employee object, or you write a separate class that implements an interface that has a method that has a logic to compare two separate employee entities. So there are two ways. So one way we discussed, the first way that I spoke, we discussed in the first example. Now in the second one, in this class employee, so three private instance variables, the employee constructor, the three getters for the three private instance variables, the two string method. So when you simply like create an instance of employee one and you simply do println, so it would be printing the custom return that we are writing instead of the address or the reference part. So over here now in your class M class, you have the static function called get filtered list. So within that, it's taking a list as the parameter and it is returning a list out as well. So the return is also a list, and the input is also a list here. So like we read in the question. So now you have to like write the logic based on which you would be comparing this out. So one is also like using a lambda function here directly. Okay, one braces is left. Okay, now there is this comparator interface. Okay, my bad. I was muted. So we talked about compare to. Now in this comparator interface, we have this method as compare. So we talked about compare to. Now we have a method as compare. Now in compare, it is taking two parameters of same kind, like same object type, and it would compare those two, and based on that logic, it would determine how the order is to be there. Now, this way is the like this is the other way around. I suppose we also have a documentation related to this part, this medium documentation. It's quite good. So you can read this out. So it might be helpful, like differentiating both of them. So over here, first of all, it states that the comparable in the first question, the compare to method that we were referring to, is used to define natural ordering of the object of class, so which must be implemented by any class that implements this interface. So when you're referring to this comparable part, so any class, suppose over here they have given a student class, so student class is supposed to implement this comparable interface, and it is mandatory for it to override this method compare to define the ordering of it. Now comparator interface, so it is used to define multiple ways of sorting object. It is found in so and so, and it has this method that we will be like referring to for now is compare. So now simply so over here a comparator is typically used to create multiple sorting sequences. So same like negative, zero and positive, same as compared to, but it is different way around. Now if you could look into the code. So now I'm writing this class student, I'm not like making it implement anything, I'm simply writing my student class here as I write a normal class. Now I'm writing another class that implements this comparator interface, and that writes this compare method, that overrides this compare method. And when I come about, I talk about solving this, when I want to solve this part like this. Um, okay, so comparator is out here. No, so two ways like sort the student based on. So I have like two comparators now. Either I can compare the student instance based on the name, or I can compare it based on the roll number. So I suppose in this main block, in the example, I suppose they might have written no. Okay, so never mind. So when you okay, so either way around, you can also simply write the lambda function here. So I'll go through it. Um, so this name comparator and roll number comparator both implementing this comparator interface. So two logics. Now when I want to sort them out, so in your student class, I suppose. So now when I'm sorting the student list, a list of type student, I'm simply calling this comparator part here. This is what I was referring to. My bad. So now in the first case, when your student was implementing comparable interface, during that time I can simply call collections, like call the static method sort, and sort the array list or any collection type that stores any particular object type. Now when I'm creating a class student simply, and then I'm writing two other classes that implement the comparator, and that stores the logic of comparing the students, I have to write it this way. Like in this part, in this first part, it states I have to like sort the students array, and the second parameter I'm passing is I'm passing a new object. I'm creating a new instance of this new comparator, the class that implements the comparator interface. I'm passing it. So based on this logic, the elements would be sorted out. So one like two ways around. One is to directly make that class implement the comparator interface, and then write the compare to method. Another way is you write your class as it is. You create a separate two separate like separate a separate class that implements comparator, that has the compare method. And when you want to sort it, or when you want to keep it like put it in your queue, or like priority queue or your tree set, you simply specify the elements, and also the instance. You pass the instance that implements the comparator. So this instance would define the logic based on which the elements would be stored.
So, this here you give, give the collection and the key of sorting, like similar way in Python we have.
Okay, I'm not like much aware of it,
Hmm.
like for Python, but
Hmm.
you can like I'll share you this document. You
Yeah.
can read it out. So based on it, I'll be like sharing two ways you can try this. So in this class now, the employees, and as in the question suggested, first convert this employee list into a stream and then you apply the filter and then you again convert it back to list type. So what I can do is I can have this f list is equal to, first convert this e list, the parameter I'm passing it into a stream first, and on that stream first you apply the filter method. Now filter based on, I think, suppose the rating was more than 6 and the salary was less than 20,000 or something. So rating greater than 6 and salary lesser than 20,000. Filter, and for the instance is your, for emp in the stream, for an element of type employee called emp in the stream, emp dot gets salary to be less than, I think less than or equals to as well, lesser than 20,000, so less than only 20,000, and on that I'll again apply filter. You can also use and, I prefer this. Now on that emp again, emp dot get rating to be more than 6, and now on this list that we created, what I'll do is, okay, never mind. On this list that we created, my bad, stream, I want to convert the stream back to a list type. So the return is a list of employees, so I'll just simply use the two lists. So the default array list, it would be converted to, so collect, I suppose, collect, and within collect you call the static method from the collectors. So collectors dot to list, I suppose. So convert it into that format, and then on this list you sort this out. So over here you simply call the static method in your collections. So collections dot sort, and sort this f list. Now since the employee class does not implement a comparable interface, it does not have a logic based on which I'll be able to compare it. So I have to write a compare, like a particular like I have to write a logic such that based on this the elements would be compared, and it states that it should be in descending order. So what I can do is I can simply create a class. Another way is lambda method. It's much shorter and concise, but I'll go through both. So class as custom comparator, and it implements interface as comparator, and this comparator of based on, I suppose, employee, right? And within this we have our method as compare. Hmm. Okay, let me check which I was doing. Okay, I think this was it only. The comparator only. I think the method was compare, right? The document. So it's a compare method, no? So public return again would be in same logic as compare to, only the method changes to compare and the parameter changes from 1 to 2. So the type that you are referring to is employee, employee 1 and employee E2. Now, like I suggested, that if I write this logic as return E1 dot, was it based on what was the sorting logic again? So descending order of the rating of the employee based on descending order of rating. So I can simply do E dot get rating minus E2 dot get rating. So this would give you in the ascending order, but since we have to have it in the descending order, so this would be ascending and the descending would be the reverse of it. So E2 dot get rating minus E1 dot get the ratings, and you simply return it. Like you can also write the if else logic and all to do it, like if more than return 1, if less than return -1, and so. But the logic over here would be reverse, like even the returning of negative, positive and zero number would be reverse of what you would have done in ascending order. Now after this, what we can do is we can create new instance of this custom comparator and we can simply pass it. So this is one way around. Now another is I don't want to even create this new class called this new class that implements comparator and that uses this logic. I simply can also pass a lambda method. Like simply what I can do is I can write. Okay, so first let's test this and then I'll go through the next way that we can do it. The other way around. So this is your class, and if I change it to your main again, and the options as so in your main method again you are taking input, you are putting for like creating new 4 instances of employee, putting it into linked list, and then you are calling this filtered list. So for the first one it would be like based on the rating, so 9, 8 and then 7. So if we look back to the question, so again 9, 8, 7. So this gave you in descending order. So descending order, if I precisely write the overall logic, how it would go is if, so this is like reverse of your ascending order. So if E2 dot, okay, like if E1 dot get rating is more than E2 dot get rating. So if it was an ascending order, you would have simply returned 1 here. So instead of that, return a negative number instead of positive for your descending order. Else if E1 dot get rating is less than E2 dot get rating. Now if it's less, then in this case in your ascending you would have written a negative, but over here for descending part you would return a positive value. So you would simply do return 1. So this logic would say similarly work for your compare to method as well. Else you simply return 0, indicating both are equal. So this would again work. Okay. Now suppose I don't want to write this custom comparator class. I can instead of also writing this class, since it's this is a functional interface. So when you are denoting functional interface, you can like create a lambda method and simply define that part. You do not have to also explicitly write the whole declaration and all. So simply collections dot I can do is sort and in like pass the f list here And apart from S list, we have the custom comparator that, so instead of custom comparator, I'll simply pass S1 as the first parameter, S2 as the second employee parameter, and I would denote that S2 dot get rating minus S1 dot get rating. So this would also give me the same logic. Now for the ascending, you would have to simply reverse the order, like you would simply do S1 minus S2. So is this part clear?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, in case of string,
String you do not have to like define it. If you are as like if you are asking like if you have a collection of that storing elements of type string, then there is no need. For strings and numbers it's fine, but for the objects or the classes that you are creating, the custom classes that you are creating, you have to define it.
okay.
Okay, so I think that was it for today. So
Can you like briefly cover those functional interfaces and lambda functions?
sure. uh, which week again was it?
I think week 7 or 8.
Mm,
7, 7.
okay, here it is only.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so this document also has all the like these links. So when you talk about functional interface, so it states that it is an interface with a single abstract method. So it may have default and static methods, but only one abstract method is to be there. Then only it can be called as a functional interface. And when I'm referring to a functional interface, I can like instead of like what I did, I created a new like a new instance called custom comparator that was implementing comparator, right? So instead of that, I can simply pass a lambda function for functional interfaces only to like to fulfill the objective. So both way around. Now example over here, like with it, like comparator is your functional interface. It only has one abstract method as compare. Even your collections, my bad, compare to, it's also an abstract method in your uh, comparable comparable interface. Even there is this runnable that's in your like that is for your multiple threads to like threads to be created for creating threads. It is also a functional interface. I think it would be discussed in your week 10 or 11. Now the functional interfaces, they represent the concept of one function, so Java uses them to support higher order functions. Now higher order functions as in your lambda expressions in Java. So lambda expression, it states it is an anonymous function, so function without a name, like in your Python. You do not specify the name, you simply specify the parameters and you simply you create an arrow to denote how they would be, like how the output would be returned, like in based on some sort of expression or some sort of operations that would be performed on. So it states it helps replace the objects that implements functional interface with just one required function. So in this question over here, in this code itself, so instead of writing this passing a new instance of custom comparator, I simply passed a lambda method that satisfies the compare method logic. Instead of line 50, I can do line 51. So I don't even have to write this whole function. This whole function, it will reduce the amount of lines I would write. So it's much concise and easy.
Okay.
Okay. So anything else?
Here are the documents of like all the weeks.
So what you can do is like in if you have the calendar. So I suppose on any of the particular TA session, if you click on it, you will have this link.
Drive link. Okay.
So it would give you this.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
there are documents and there are codes in it.
So this drive link and
And you
okay.
can also share it. So
Got it. And whatever you were coding today, is that also available here?
it's over here.
Okay. OPPE2. Okay. Uh, Thank you.
Thank you. So I'll share you the link as well in the chat so you can access it from here.
Hmm.